married for 8 years, and my boyfriend actually posted intimate photos with his first love on social media to show off. And that woman even used the photo as her profile picture to provoke me. But what they didn't know was, I was the company boss. I immediately fired the mistress and filed for divorce. It was our 8th year of marriage when my boyfriend posted an intimate photo with his so-called first love on his social media feed, showing it off loudly. My new assistant, isn't she hot? Isn't she sweet? I replied below the post, you two really look like a couple. Soon after, the post was deleted, and he called to chew me out, calling me stupid. A few minutes later, that very photo became the other woman's profile picture. I asked the first love, is this appropriate? Utterly brazen, she openly provoked me, what the hell do you care? Mr. Chin doesn't mind, so who the hell do you think you are? Everyone had overlooked the fact that I was the real boss of the company. This time, I wouldn't tolerate it anymore. Michael got home late at night. Not long before, he had posted on his social media, with her, I finally know that youth can truly be eternal. The picture was a photo of the two of them gazing deeply at each other, looking like a couple made in heaven. Of course, Michael knew I would see it. He did it on purpose. Seeing me eating a late-night snack, he said casually, eating this late? Trying to get fat again? In the past, he would stop me from eating takeout late at night and would even cook for me himself. But now, without waiting for my answer, he turned and walked into the bathroom. Perhaps my answer no longer mattered. From the time we started dating until we got married, many outstanding women had appeared in his life. But I knew clearly that this time was different from any other time. When Michael came out of the shower, I was washing dishes in the kitchen. He came over to me and said, that photo I posted was just for fun. You're overreacting. Really? I turned back and glanced at Michael. But that picture is already her profile picture. How do you explain that? That's why I came to talk to you. Michael's eyes showed disdain. She just set a profile picture. And you threatened her? Don't you think you're being too much? Too much? I paused. Was I being too much? The other woman brazenly set a photo of herself and my husband as her profile picture, openly flaunting it. And I couldn't say a word? Otherwise, it's considered threatening her? Perhaps in Michael's eyes, I was indeed being too much, and I should have remained silent, letting the mistress parade around. But I couldn't do that. Call her and apologize, okay? Before I could think further, Michael handed me his phone, giving me orders as usual. Perhaps he didn't know that his action was an infinite trampling on my dignity. Or perhaps, he was doing it on purpose. A storm was already raging in my heart, but I still calmly asked Michael, the other woman is being intimate with my husband, and you want me to call her and apologize? What kind of talk is that? Michael said, displeased, you're acting like you've suffered some huge injustice. I've noticed you haven't grown at all over the years. I don't want to argue with you. I'll dial the number for you, just apologize, now. He had always been assertive and overbearing. Back in school, no one dared to offend him. Later, he dropped out early, and while still young, he went out to work, get into fights, traffic goods for resale. He did anything he could to make money. And then, he actually made a name for himself, opening bars, restaurants. He became a well-known figure in the area. As for me, I had been alone and helpless since childhood, often bullied. He was the one who protected me, and he was the one who paid for my college education. I was grateful to him. After graduating from college, I married him, and I also work tirelessly for his career, even almost losing my life once. Over the years, whatever he said, I always followed through decisively, without complaint. In life, I always put him first in everything. But this time was different. I disagreed. I refuse. I stared at Michael, my gaze resolute. Michael looked at me in disbelief. Since I had been with him, I had almost never gone against his wishes. Especially after he got angry, whatever he said, I would follow 100%. You dare not apologize, just try me. He was furious. At the same time, the call connected. Hello? Mr. Chin? I'm washing your clothes right now. You know, I didn't expect your underwear to be cartoon-themed, so cute. The voice coming from the phone made Michael's expression change repeatedly. On his usually domineering face, a hint of nervousness actually appeared, and he explained to me, "It's not what you think. I was just drinking at her place and accidentally spilled some food on my clothes, so I changed. I was just planning to throw them away." Seeing Michael explaining with a touch of panic, I calmly picked up the phone and said to Michael's first love, "This is Anna. You won't need to come to work anymore." Emily heard my words, and instead of being scared, she mocked me coldly, "Anna, don't flatter yourself. Who the hell do you think you are? In name, you're Michael's wife, but in reality, you're just a trophy wife he keeps around. You're old and faded, Michael won't like an old woman like you anymore. You have no right to give me orders. Throughout the entire company, only Mr. Chin can fire me. As for you, get lost." Faced with her mockery and arrogance, I was unusually calm. Over the years, to help Michael build the company, I had been through too much, even almost losing my life. These experiences had long cultivated my composure in dealing with things. I spoke calmly, "You'll regret this. Pa, your little tricks might scare kids, but Emily, don't fa. LL for that." She was very defiant. I wasn't angry either. Instead, I felt quite happy. Since the company got on the right track, my usually calm heart hadn't felt such a ripple in a long time. I didn't continue arguing with Emily and handed the phone to Michael. "Fire her." Michael took the phone and said, "She's a good secretary. I can't just easily fire her." "Then fire me?" I looked at Michael and asked. "You haven't made any progress over the years, still so petty." Michael yelled at me, "She's just a secretary. Do you have to be like this?" Michael's yelling only made me calmer. With the calmest words, I made him panic, then, "Divorce?" Chapter 2. The word divorce plunged the room into extreme silence. So quiet we could hear each other's breathing. He seemed not to have expected me to say those two words. But this wasn't the first time I had said them. 4 years ago, when the company was just starting to take shape, I asked him to cut ties with his past and stop associating with those shady characters. But he didn't listen, and it eventually led to trouble. I took a knife for him and was on the brink of death. On the way to the emergency room, I held his hand and said, "If I die, then so be it. But if I make it out of surgery alive, and you still don't cut ties with the past, then we'll divorce." He cried and promised me, saying he would do anything as long as I was okay. Now, things were different, and I had said divorce for the second time. I walked towards the bedroom, and from behind me came Michael's shout, "Fine. Go ahead and divorce." I trembled, gripping the doorknob tightly, opened the bedroom door, and walked inside. Leaning against the door, I heard the sound of him storming out the front door. Bang! As the sound of the door closing echoed, a door seemed to close in my heart as well. He was gone. I crouched in the corner and cried. The last time I cried was when I was in school. Back then, because I was alone and helpless since childhood and was bullied, I could only hide in a corner and cry by myself. Michael walked up to me casually and said, "Why are you so weak? Why are you crying? If you're being bullied, why don't you fight back?" I didn't take his words seriously, but he put his arm around my shoulder and talked about Julius Caesar, about Alexander the Great, about Augustus Caesar. For the first time, I felt that a slacker was more knowledgeable than I was. I believed him, and then I got beaten up again. When he saw my bruised and swollen face, he burst into laughter. I laughed, foolishly/giddily, too. But from then on, those people didn't bully me as brazenly anymore, because they also knew that I had learned to fight desperately to protect my dignity and was no longer someone to be easily trampled upon. After that, I never cried again. Until now. 13 years of accumulated tears seemed to burst forth like a flood, completely out of control. The next day, I put on sunglasses to hide my swollen eyes and went to the company. Michael wasn't there. Emily saw me coming and was full of defiance. "You actually came to the company? Want to fire me? Been a trophy wife for too long, thinking you can become the boss? Who do you think you are? Looks like you've lost sight of your place. Good, this way you'll only make Michael hate you more. I'm waiting for your divorce. Her provocation reminded me of the time the company faced a crisis and I felt frustrated, and Michael comforted me. Just like any other time, he put his arm around my shoulder and said, "Remember what Julius Caesar said? Don't get angry when facing an enemy, anger will only lower your intelligence. We should leave the anger to the enemy and let them be incompetent, angry, and roar." I asked curiously, "Did Julius Caesar really say that?" Michael blinked. "Anyway, that's the idea, just understand it." Whether Julius Caesar really said that, I didn't know. But over the years, I had truly learned that saying completely. I calmly looked at Emily. "Call Michael back. The company is about to hold a board meeting." "Hold a board meeting?" Emily looked at me mockingly and scoffed. "Just you, and nobody, you want to hold a board meeting? You really think you're someone important?" I ignored her and went straight to the board meeting room. The company was something I had built and promoted behind the scenes with my own hands. The funding was also something I had brought in for the company. In fact, the major shareholders on the board were all investors who came because of me. By the afternoon, a piece of news exploded throughout the company. Several major shareholders have formed a bloc. They are going to hold a board meeting to re-elect the chairman. I heard the move is big. Besides re-electing the chairman, there will also be some personnel reshuffles. This meeting will decide the company's future direction. When Michael arrived at the board meeting, his face was very grim. He sat across from me, staring at me with a cold expression the entire time. Without any surprises, after the majority of shareholders voted, I successfully became the company's chairwoman. I immediately implemented a series of personnel adjustments and appointments for the company. Throughout the entire meeting, Michael didn't say a word. Until I called Emily in. When Emily saw me sitting in the chairman's seat, she was utterly shocked, her face instantly turning pale. I looked at Emily calmly and issued my first order as the chairwoman: "You are fired from the company." Chapter 3. Emily immediately looked to Michael for help. Michael stood up. Even when he was removed from the chairman position, he didn't object, but this time, he said, "I object. Emily is a valuable employee, the company should keep her." If this were in the past, seeing him protect someone else like this, I really would have been jealous. But now, I was calmer than ever. "If you object, let's take a board vote." Once it came down to this, there was no doubt his objection was invalid. Because I had the same shareholding percentage as Michael, and now, several major shareholders were on my side. He was outnumbered, his objection had no effect. Facing this outcome, Michael didn't seem surprised. He didn't say anything else and left the boardroom coldly. I watched him and Emily leave calmly and continued with the rest of the board meeting agenda. After the meeting ended, several older shareholders came up to me. "Xiaoshen, no matter what happens, we'll definitely support you, but you need to handle your marital problems properly. Don't let malicious people take advantage and ruin the company." "That's right, Xiaoshen." I still remember clearly that year you knelt at my door begging for investment for this company. "Be very careful." They were reminding me, not just for my sake, but also for their own interests. I shook hands with each of them and thanked them. When I got home that night, the house was filled with the long-missed aroma of cooking. In the kitchen, Michael was busy cooking. I had thought he would disappear for a while, but to my surprise, he was home cooking. I couldn't remember the last time he cooked at home. Maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, or maybe even longer. "You're back? Go wash your hands, dinner's ready." Michael brought out a dish. His tenderness felt both familiar and strange. I asked abruptly, "What have you decided about the divorce?" Michael visibly tensed, almost dropping the plate he was holding. He gently set the plate down, his smile forced. "Food is important for survival. Let's eat first. We'll have more energy to talk after we've eaten." "All right." I washed my hands and sat at the dining table, watching him busy himself in the kitchen. For some reason, my eyes felt sore. Maybe the tears from last night hadn't dried up, and I accidentally teared up a guy. But my heart told me that at this moment, I felt a sense of warmth. It had been years since I'd felt this way. After dinner, he poured me a cup of tea. Next Wednesday is your birthday. I haven't celebrated your birthday in a long time, it seems. Next Wednesday, how about we go out and relax, take a vacation? I looked at Michael calmly. After a long pause, I brought it up again, about the divorce. Michael grabbed my hand. Don't divorce, okay? Chapter 4. I could clearly feel Michael's nervousness, even a slight trembling. He was always someone who could remain composed even when faced with disaster. I hadn't seen him this flustered in a long time. The last time he was this flustered was when I was wheeled into the emergency room, hovering between life and death. I don't know which chord in my heart Michael touched again, but I agreed, all right, next Wednesday, I'll go with you. Taking over the company was very busy. But by Wednesday, I still put aside all matters and got into Michael's car early. He had even dressed up specially for me today, even wearing the first piece of clothing I had bought him that year. Watching him drive, it felt like going back to those youthful days. Thinking about everything from the past, I said, the company's CEO should still be you. That would be more appropriate. Michael gave me a slight smile. Today is just to celebrate your birthday, just the two of us. Let's not talk about anything else, okay? Okay. I agreed calmly, but a ripple ran through my heart. It had been so long since I felt this way. If only things could continue like this forever. Just as the car stopped at Swan Lake Resort, Michael's phone rang. I clearly saw the caller ID display, baby. A long time ago, this name was only for me. And now it wasn't. I knew clearly who it was. Michael saw the look in my eyes and seemed a little flustered. Go ahead and answer it. You'll be distracted if you don't. You probably won't be. In the mood for the whole day? I looked at Michael calmly. He was silent for a few seconds before answering the phone. Mohan, I'm so lonely right now. Will you come and keep me company? Michael opened his mouth but finally said, I'm busy today, I can't come. But that guy fired me and squeezed you out of the company's core circle. Shouldn't you be as depressed as I am right now? Emily vented her anger on the phone, then softened her tone. Mohan, come be with me. I'm in so much pain without you. I'm afraid I'll do something stupid. You know, I have depression. Michael panicked, his eyes cautiously observing me. Seeing my icy gaze, his face looked bad. Emily's voice came from the other end again, like a final ultimatum. Michael, I know it's her birthday today, but if you don't come see me, you might never see me again. Click. The phone hung up. Michael, who had always been unruffled in the face of problems, actually trembled because of this. His reaction made the crack that had just appeared in my heart close up again, completely sealing it. I leaned back in the passenger seat and closed my eyes. Go. Maybe she really will do something stupid. If you miss this chance, it might be forever. Thank you for understanding. I'll go and come right back. Michael looked at me, his gaze very firm. I'll definitely be back. His answer plunged me into complete despair. What I actually wanted to convey had two meanings. If you miss this chance, it might be forever. That forever could be about Emily, or it could be about me. And his choice was Emily. I got out of the car. Watching him drive away, I silently said, don't bother coming back. I spent the entire day alone at the resort. Michael really didn't come back. Not until late at night did he send me a message. Are you there? No. Don't be so petty. Emily has depression. I was just afraid she'd do something stupid. Michael explained a lot. Messages kept coming in on my phone. But I couldn't be bothered to look anymore. Emily might do something stupid, but didn't he worry that I might do something stupid? He didn't come back the whole night. I shouldn't have held out hope in the first place. It was my inability to let go. But this time was different. He had made his choice. Maybe it was time for me to truly let go. A month later, I secured a huge order for the company, working with Texas Capital, that would last for 5 years. This was enough to ensure the company could survive for 5 years without worrying about performance, even without any other business. To celebrate, the company held a celebration party. But what surprised everyone was that Emily, who had already been fired, actually showed up at the party. She even grabbed the microphone and stood on the main stage in the center of the venue, looking at me with full defiance and saying, "Michael, the Anna now isn't worth your love at all." Then she turned to Michael with deep emotion. "Promise me, break up with Anna. You should be with me." Seeing Emily making a scene, the company staff looked very displeased, and someone immediately moved to kick her out. But I stopped them. I turned to face Michael and said, "Since the atmosphere is already like this, why don't you just go with her?" Everyone was shocked by my words. Even Emily looked at me in surprise. The scene fell into extreme silence. I stared at Michael. He was also looking at me in disbelief. In that instant, his face showed at least a dozen different expressions. Chapter 5. In that moment, Michael's face displayed at least a dozen different expressions. Nervousness, flustered, shock, fear, bewilderment. Perhaps he hadn't expected me to act this way in public. What did you just say?" Michael looked at me. Perhaps he couldn't believe what he had heard was true. I smiled calmly. What's the point of staying together when we're living separate lives? Rather than being together or so miserably, it's better to set you free. I said this and left, not caring about the shocked stares around me, and strode out of the celebration party venue. In the hallway, Michael chased after me. He came in front of me, grabbed me, and then slapped me across the face. "Take that back." "Not this time." I looked at Michael calmly. My voice was soft, but it held firmness. Michael's face was full of anger, but a tear rolled down the corner of his eye. He yelled at me, "You never defy me like this. I want you to take that back." Then, he slapped me again. His slaps were angry, yet powerless. I calmly closed my eyes, then opened them again. "I'm tired. Go home early. I'll find a lawyer to handle the divorce." I turned and left. Behind me came Michael's heart-wrenching sobs. He had never been this defeated. But I had been this defeated many times. I didn't go back to the house I shared with Michael, but went to a villa I had bought recently. Apart from a housekeeper, everything in the house was quiet. He was no longer wandering around beside me, and I didn't have to worry about him suddenly appearing. But I was wrong. By night, Michael still found his way here. "How did you find this place?" I asked. He just had a cold expression, not saying a word. He came inside, took off his clothes, and went into the bathroom. Looking at the tattoo on his back, my heart felt a sharp pain again. That year, he was injured protecting me, and later he got a tattoo over the scar. I asked him if the tattoo hurt. He said, "It hurts, but it's so you'll remember my kindness forever. People make mistakes, and I will too. In the future, no matter what mistake I make, as long as you see this, you have to forgive me unconditionally. Do you promise me?" I was incredibly moved at the time and nodded in agreement. "I promise." Michael smiled and held out his hand. "Pinky swear, forever and always." Thinking about these things, the pain in my heart grew stronger and stronger. I don't know when, but Michael came out of the bathroom. He came up to me. "Where's the bedroom?" I glanced upstairs but didn't say anything. He put his arm around my neck and whispered, "There are no lingering grudges between husband and wife. No matter how big the issue, it will pass." Then he placed my hand around his waist and said softly, "Hold me and let's go to the bedroom." Seeing me unresponsive, he whispered in my ear, "Believe me, I've completely cut ties with Emily." It would have been better if he hadn't mentioned that name. Mentioning that name made me resistant. I pushed him away and shook my head. "You won't cut ties with her completely. We've been together for 13 years, and you don't trust me?" Michael stared at me. I don't know why. When he brought up the 13 years we'd been together, I couldn't face it anymore. I avoided his gaze and said softly, "It's precisely because I know you so well that I know you won't." "You really won't." Michael took the initiative again. He held my hand, kissed it gently, and said, "Just believe me this once." The last time. I was silent and gave in. Chapter 6. In the middle of the night, Michael leaned against me and told me he didn't want to work anymore. He said, "From now on, I'll take care of the home, and you'll handle the outside. I want to be a stay-at-home dad too. We should have a child now." 13 years. We still didn't have a child. Because when I was in college, I had an accident that severely injured my uterus, leaving me infertile. I've already made arrangements. There's a hospital with a pair of twins, a boy and a girl. They were abandoned by their parents right after they were born. Should we adopt them? Michael looked at me expectantly. Adopting children, this was his determination to be a good husband. I was silent for a long time. Then I agreed. We adopted the abandoned babies. Because we had no experience, we were fumbling around and eventually had to hire a confinement nanny. Life changed because of this. The house was filled with a long-missing Joy. And he had really changed a lot. He often cooked at home and tirelessly packed meals to bring to me at the company. Once, during a heavy downpour, I thought he wouldn't come. But he still showed up in the rain. He didn't come into the company or disturb my work, but instead gave the food to a colleague to pass on to me. For a while, many people at the company envied me. But what I didn't expect was that just a month later, I received photos from a friend of Michael and Emily walking together on the street. In the photo, they were walking side by side, smiling at each other. They smiled sweetly, intimately. I looked for a long time before putting down my phone. I walked to the window and looked out at the street outside the company building, falling into thought. But this time, there was no feeling of being hurt. Perhaps I had already become numb. I called my lawyer and asked him to draft a divorce agreement for me. I also asked a colleague to help me rent a place in a neighborhood whose name I didn't even know. This time, I was truly leaving. I lived alone in a 60-square-meter apartment for a month. Michael called many times every day. If it were before, my heart would have been touched. But now, no matter what he said, I felt nothing. Until he finally sent a message, "I'm willing to divorce, but we have to talk face to face." Seeing this message, I felt a sense of relief. As soon as I got home, I heard a baby crying inside. Following the sound, I went upstairs. Michael was looking after the two children. He looked very haggard. Some silver strands had even appeared in his originally black hair, so noticeable. Maybe I'm just a glutton for punishment my whole life. I thought I wouldn't feel anything anymore. But seeing him in person, it brought back all the feelings again. I didn't disturb him, just watched quietly until he turned and saw me. His eyes showed some surprise, and also some happiness, but at the same time, he seemed a little lost and flustered. It was complicated. So complicated that even I couldn't understand it. "Wait a minute, the children are almost asleep," Michael said softly. I nodded and walked over to the cradle, looking at the two children Michael and I had adopted. They were so cute, so innocent. Just like, back when I was bullied and met Michael. Back then, we were also innocent and naive. We did so many things together. The first time we ran out on a bill. The first time we watched the sunrise. The first time we childishly counted the stars in the sky. The first time we held hands. The first time we kissed. We gave each other so many firsts. And now, 13 years later, we both seem to have become someone different from who we were then. Chapter 7. After putting the children to sleep, Michael and I went out to the balcony. He offered me a cigarette. Looking at the cigarette, I frowned slightly. I quit a long time ago. In the past, he smoked, fought, drank. I hoped he would at least stop smoking and fighting. I argued with him countless times about this, and later I decided to quit smoking with him. But before quitting, I had to learn how to smoke first. It took us 3 whole years to truly quit together. To celebrate quitting successfully, we even held a special celebration, designating that day as our unique smoke-free celebration day. And now, he lit a cigarette again. "When did you start again?" I asked. "Since your lawyer sent the divorce papers." Michael blew out a heart-shaped smoke ring. He was good at things like that. During those youthful years, he even used ways like this to tease me, making me miserable. I looked at him calmly. Do you have any additional conditions? Michael paused slightly. He turned and looked into the distance. You misunderstood me. That time I was with Emily. It was just to say a final goodbye. I shook my head. Saying all this now doesn't have any meaning, does it? He fell silent. Not until he put out the cigarette, but did he look at me and ask, can we not divorce? No. I was firm and calm, as if stating something insignificant. In that instant, his eyes turned red. Is there really no room for negotiation? We've been together for 13 years, There isn't. Before he could finish, I interrupted him, saying, instead of considering these things, you might as well consider adding some clauses favorable to you in the divorce agreement. I'll consider it at my discretion and try my best to accommodate you. I knew it would be like this. Tears rolled down his face. He turned and went inside. I followed him. He went to the safe, took out a notebook from inside, and handed it to me. You always wanted to read my notebooks, didn't you? Now I'm giving it to you. I won't write in it anymore. Looking at the notebook, it brought back all the feelings again. Michael used to be a bad student who didn't like to study, but he insisted on writing notes every day. By now, he had filled many notebooks. In the safe before me, there were no other valuable items, just all his notebooks. I was always curious, wanting to know what he wrote in his notes every day. But Michael said it was his privacy and I shouldn't invade it. He also said that if one day we broke up, perhaps I would get to see his notes. Now, his words had come true. I was silent for a long time, hesitating whether to open the notebook. Seeing me delay, Michael said, remember what I said to you that time you were beaten up? Which time? I asked. Only weak people are afraid to face reality. Michael dropped this line, turned, and left, leaving me alone to face his notebooks. Chapter 8. I took a deep breath. I knew clearly that Michael was trying to provoke me into opening the notes. My life had always been under Michael's influence. It had always been this way. Did I make him, or did he make me? In that moment, I realized it. It was him. Without him, there wouldn't be the me I became, and I wouldn't have made him the company president. So he came first, I came after. He made me. I went to the sofa and sat down, opening the notebook, July 17th, sunny. Saw her again. In the sun, she's really cute. Love her to death. But she's so weak. She got bullied again. What should I do? July 18th, cloudy. She seems to have been beaten up. I heard she's an orphan, that's why her classmates look down on her and she gets bullied often. I want to protect her, but how should I do it? July 29th, sunny. I know how to protect her now. I should make everyone fear me. That way I can protect her. And wouldn't that be really cool? Will it get her attention? Whatever. I've decided. That's what I'll do. Just you wait, my baby, you'll be mine forever. Looking at these short notes, page after page, a long missing pain appeared in my heart. I had once thought he was just a slacker, but now I realize that 13 years ago, he became that way because of me. My heart, which should have been calm, rippled again. I continued reading the notes, August 2nd, rainy. What to do? Her grades are great. She got into a key university. But she's an orphan and doesn't have the money for tuition. So worried about her. Wouldn't it be a lifelong regret if she can't go to college? August 5th, rainy. I didn't expect her to be like this. She actually yelled at me. She's never been so rough. This is the first time. Even though I was yelled at, I'm happy. My woman should be like this. She's probably still frustrated about college. Whatever. I've decided. Whether it's working on an assembly line in a factory or waiting tables at a restaurant, in short, I'm going to make sure she gets to college. I can't let her life have any regrets. Chapter 9. Tears blurred my vision. I finally understood why Michael never let me see his notes. It wasn't that he couldn't share these private things, it was that he was afraid I would cry. After a long while, I opened the second notebook. February 7th, snowy. Damn, this goddamn idiot. It's almost Chinese New Year, and he actually found people to trash my place and cut off my left arm. No, I have to tough it out. I can't let Anna see this. She needs to study hard at college and not be distracted by my problems. So looking forward to spending Chinese New Year with her. I'll get to see her in a few days. I wonder if she's having a hard time working part-time and studying there, if she's tired. Too much blood loss. Can't write today. That's it. May 3rd, sunny. I was wrong. This should have been Anna's happy holiday. I shouldn't have taken her with me. Please, God, you must let her wake up. I'm willing to trade my life for hers. Third notebook, June 28th, sunny. Anna finally graduated. I'm so happy. Drank with her, but she's starting to dislike me smoking and drinking. I want to quit, but I run a bar and restaurants now. I need to socialize with all sorts of people. What should I do? She won't leave me because of these things, will she? Yeah, she graduated from college, she has a bright future, she's a high achiever. And a street punk like me probably isn't worthy of her anymore. Maybe I really should let go and let her have a better future. But I can't bear to let go. September 14th, rainy. You're amazing. You're truly my high achiever. Helping me run the bar, the accounts are so clear and organized. With you, I truly feel at ease. We'll have a better future. November 2nd, sunny. Didn't expect it to be so fast. We have our own company now, and she even found the first investment. I really underestimated her. She's right. I shouldn't stick to the old ways. I should go legit and completely say goodbye to the dirty past. She's so bossy now. Not my little sweetie anymore, but my big sweetie. Fourth notebook, July 6th, cloudy turning partly sunny. The company is facing its biggest trouble. She's kneeling at Mr. Zhao's house, and I can only watch, helpless. Luckily, in the end, she teamed up with old Zhao and old Lu to clean up the mess. My baby has grown up. She can handle things on her own now, but she doesn't want to be in the front. She still likes to push me out every time. I know she does this to protect my dignity as a man. She's sacrificed too much for me. September 17th, cloudy. Damn it. Haven't been able to have kids for so many years. I thought it was my problem. But the doctor says it's because of her. Mom and Dad are urging me to have kids. But as long as she's happy, that's all that matters. Fifth notebook, February 11th, snowy. It's Chinese New Year. I wished I could step down from the company, but she doesn't agree. Actually, I know very well that I'm not cut out for running a company. Everything is being manipulated by her behind the scenes. Without her, I'm nothing. I know she wants to repay me, to give me everything. But she doesn't know that's not what I want. All I want is to be with her and have a happy family, nothing more. March 3rd, weather not good. Feeling unwell. Went to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor told me I have cancer. Should I tell her? No. I want to leave all the good things for her. She should also move from behind the scenes to the front. March 12th, rainy. My plan has begun. Anna got jealous seeing me with someone else. I'm happy, but I also feel sorry for her. But I have to endure it. I want her to be the company president. All of this should belong to her. My woman, you have to work hard. February 7th, snowy. The plan has been running for a year. Why is she still tolerating it? Am I not being bad enough? But I feel like I've already wronged her too much. This year, we're not together for Chinese New Year for the first time. I'm not used to it. It's so cold. May 9th, sunny. She's really angry this time. Emily gave her a sense of crisis, and she can't hold it in anymore. My plan is about to succeed. But I'm terrified. I'm afraid I'll lose her. But even if I'm scared, I have to persist. She shouldn't be behind the scenes. All this glory should belong to her. She has the ability. I must see her step from behind the scenes to the front before I die. June 6th, sunny. She was truly formidable today. She was in charge of the board meeting all by herself. My powerhouse CEO has finally stepped out. Happy. July 1st, sunny. What I feared most still happened. She wants to divorce me, and I really deserve to die. I actually seem to develop real feelings for the actress I hired. If we divorce, I don't blame her. It's just that there are still so many regrets between us. We still have many dreams we haven't achieved. September 6th, rainy. The divorce agreement still arrived. She must be completely desperate with me now, right? But seeing her now as a powerhouse CEO, I'm truly relieved. It was worth it to have spent 13 years with you in this life. I hope you can be happy every day without me. I love you, baby. I dropped the notebook and rushed into the room. Michael was already asleep, with 2 empty bottles of sleeping pills beside him. In his hand was a note, baby, goodbye. I really can't stand the torment of the illness anymore. Leaving is the best choice for me. Don't even think about looking for me. Only weak people are afraid to face reality. You're a powerhouse CEO now. You can face anything, right? You living is carrying on my will. Take care of our children. In this life, we won't meet again. I love you, baby. I broke down completely in tears. So it turned out my whole life had been a debt to him. My whole life had been in his embrace. And now he never wanted to see me again.